Okay. Now we are alive?
You're alive, yes.
Okay. Okay. You know how to be
As peaceful as a plant. How to stay in peace.
how to
How
be
to
in
be
peace.
in peace.
How to be in peace when we are not into pieces. Because the mind is fragment into pieces. In the sound sleep is one whole dimension. So how to be in peace all the time, like plants, as you said, because flowers, plants, they are aligned with the Mother Nature. All the time. What that means? That the time, which is the other name of the mind is the cause, which is its nature is into good, bad, right, wrong, it's duality all the time. But when mind is aligned with the timelessness, they mean eternity, then it's only observing without thoughts. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So the plants, if suppose, are looking at you, what will they choose? This one like you or this one like you? One like you, one says, oh, judging or thinking, calculating. But all the plants like you because they are beyond the like and dislike.
Mm-hmm.
So the very answer is in the very question that you are the cause. You mean not the real you, but the judgmental mind is always filtering, is causing. See, that way. Is causing. What is causing?
Separation.
Separate. This is right, this is wrong.
This is good, this is
This
bad.
is good, this is bad. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
It has to. It has to because it needs the filtration in the physical living. Physical living, this food you eat, this food you do not eat. This food has got bad or old bread, and this is fresh and new. So that's a tool, mind, good as a tool. But if it's chattering non-stop, then it becomes anxiety. It becomes anxiety. Like the car you drove is a good tool,
Mhm.
but you cannot keep it all the time with you. You do not bring it in.
Right.
You leave it where it belongs. So, can you also use the mind as a tool that when you want it, you can use?
Yeah.
When you don't want, you put a stop to it. Do you have a button of the mind to put stop?
No. We don't have a button.
People try after the end of the day, they take a shot just to be full or to slow it down. But that's not the real solution. The other solutions are when people do exercise, bodily exercise, that balance the body mind, because body mind are two sides of the same coin. They affect each other. But there is a eternity dimension within you. As you have not tapped that. Why not tap that? Because normal man is so occupied. Occupied means entangled into the outside world, so much consumed in it. That's what happened. That imagine the people who don't have, who have jobs, they think they're very lucky, but they go around and around. There are a lot of people, 9 to 5, 30 year, 40 year, 50 year, and many countries are in that. They are working machine. And at the end of the day, they think, okay, they could earning income and making survival level, which is not even as good as the plants and the birds or the cats and dogs. And
Yeah.
after all this work and thinking and big ego, all they are surviving, they're dragging the body and mind.
Yeah,
So,
and when they retire, they're in bad shape and they can't even enjoy the time or the money that they saved.
yeah,
Because they're
yeah,
fat and sick and they can't travel to go see all the places they didn't see yet.
yes,
They're at the doctor instead.
yeah. And the fear of the doctor or any disease because they have heard from papers or newspaper The one big stroke can wipe out there on the. So what is this life full of care? Not a minute to look and stare. So these two lines are not talking of staring. It's talking of stare means where the mind comes at a halt. So lot of religions and teachers will teach you how to calm the mind and tame the mind. But we are pointing out towards something else, that the nature of the body is always growing, 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 either growing bigger or growing older. Then there comes the mind. Mind is duality nature. Because what is your ego which says, I like this, I dislike, as long as it is in the domain or area of the mind, it's always in that, stuck in that area. But when you find the real I, which is beyond the name and form, you will discover that the mind is like a reflection. It's like a ghost. The ego like a ghost, and the memory, the mind, is bundle of thoughts. It's not even yours. It's bundle of thoughts. They come through this reflected body mind because these are always changing. So you are bundle of I, many eyes. But behind that, which you can say the capital I mean the real, which is unchangeable, that dimension, which does not judge, which does not think, that you cannot know because the tool you have to know cannot know, is beyond knowing. How can you know? How can you know a plant? You see it in the computer, which plant, the name and the form. Can you find a plant without the name and form? So all your mind, all your computer cannot know what is unknowable. What is unknowable? You cannot know because it is the wholeness. You cannot separate from the wholeness because you are part of it and yet not in it. So, what is real? The reflection or the real you?
Or the real you.
Real you. So, the reflection, suppose if we want to change the reflection of your and you're sitting, you cannot, you can make changes and this, but the real you is behind it. So, like there are, okay, how to understand? The screen is enveloped by the name and form and pictures, and yet it become it, and yet not it, but is behind it. Behind it means because without the screen, you cannot see the names and form.
Right.
So people call it eternal light or light. For example, the electricity which is running is the cause because if you unplug, the whole thing will be
Dark.
gone. So that state of silence or awe,
AWE.
awesome.
Yeah.
But the mind want to figure out, for example, there are things which are beyond the words, beyond because the waves on the ocean want to know the ocean, but it has to die to find what is the ocean. Die means when it disappears, then only it can know.
Okay.
So disappear means how you know the silence with the words, not a iota of it, unless the words shut down and become silent. Then only, and it does not need to know and knowing when it is in existence because the wholeness, fullness, or the other word you said, peace, is beyond the desires, beyond the wanting. Because in the real deep sound sleep, you don't want to become millionaire, president, scientist, none of those. Why? Because becoming is begging. is two. When it is in, that's why people talk that the wholeness is perfectly perfect. No human mind altogether can know that because it already is. It already is. The man thinks it can find or discover or do this and that, but you cannot separate any time. You can have illusion of separateness, but you cannot be separate because the ocean and the waves cannot step out. The wave cannot step out. It can have the idea that I am separate. So, although it is ignorance, so is the suffering. Suffering is not called by anyone else. Anyone else also part of it. It's like apparently appear, like in World Lesson Foundation or in a movie. There is a villain, one is the killer, one is the kill. But it's all like it's like a drama. Why? Like in the dream, there is a tiger attacking you. But it's on linear dream. It's only on the dream. Because when you wake up,
No
need-
tiger.
there's no tiger, there's no you. Both are. The object and subject both are. Your fear also gone. Because fear of the thought is projecting a tiger to make your body, but that is the tiger came from the thought which was stored in you. So the path, the thinking, the dreaming, all that is one. And when that dreaming and that worry goes into the sound sleep, then it is the peace, what you talked about. No wanting. Total. That is the why? Because it's greater than all the 10,000 things. That's why the person in love, you can give any gold, any money, it doesn't want what it wants. So, there had been the proof of great poets, great seers who were given millions, billions because they don't want that. Why? Because they already are bigger and greater, called the God in you as you and is free here now, but you won't believe it. You won't believe because you have your stupid ideas, illusions that God will appear in the sky with a big beard. If it happens, and if it happens, you will create bigger fear. That's man-made. Actually, too simple, because when you step out of the constant cerebral sickness, CBS, cerebral bullshit sickness, the one who has transcended this mind-made illusion is the king of all kings. Because all the scripture talk, the paradise is everywhere, every moment, here and now. But is the involvement, entanglement into mundane. Mundane means the work and job, that become all important. Like when you are growing, a child can spend 10 hours with a little toy,
the same game or whatever, yeah.
little baby, and then little bigger baby, they're throwing a football, 10 hours. Then little bigger baby think this is me, the food they eat, enjoy. Why? Because they're one with the food.
Mhm.
And food and dating and blah blah become all colorful.
Mhm.
Yes,
Music.
music. Hey, yeah, okay, nothing wrong because they're rooted in the body. But as the babe is growing, the 20 to 40, and from 40 to 60, then the the enjoyment you are taking with the same food is not giving the same. You just eat for survival, eat for the body. Then it become more from body, the attention goes to the mind. You're more in the intellect, which deal you are to make, or if you are business
Yeah.
so from body to mind, and then You're stepping into 60 or 80, your father's taste or interest is different than as before. It's different.
It's different. People have different focus later.
Focus, yeah. Focus change from the material to the mental, and then you also start thinking of others, or like, it changes. Actually, there are people who are addicted for the sensual objects, not 10 years, even 40, 50 years, or even if they are 80 years, but they are thinking of sex, or whatever their encroachment, whatever their interest is, there are always like a circle. There are some who are entangled into the food. And that's what the law of karma and the scripture tell you, that you are born in the body of that animal which is always eating. There are that animal. So it's a cycle, because the body means the thought is a bundled up mass and matter together. If there is no movement of the desire, it doesn't need the body. So you are never separate from the God, whether you have the form of the elephant or that, is all oneness. It's all oneness. Don't put the word God, because you have been befooled so many thousand years that somewhere separate, some white robed guy will appear. It's nothing but the wholeness, physical, mental, stupidity, non-stupidity is one package, is one wholeness. You can remain monkey or donkey in the time illusion or timelessness or whatever. The suffering is not suffering if you are not into it. So this is the whole big drama, the whole real movie. Even in the movie, in the big movie theater, there are people crying and suffering. The people who are enjoying because they know there is a movie. And there are who are not either.
Or bored ones.
Yeah.
They don't like it at all.
Yeah. So the mind is the best friend, and mind can be the best enemy. If it is, if it's a tamasic mind, tamasic means dark energy, you are wasting your life with the screen and doing dark web, you are befooling yourself. You are inheriting the ignorance and go deeper and deeper in the mud. So I'm not the preacher saying good, bad, right, wrong. Enjoy. Is nothing but nothing but the God, God, generative, operative, destructive, not as a person, not as a person, but presence, 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 cannot be without the eternity. The words can chatter and chatter non-stop. So we put a stop now. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
You have to press end. There you go.